display here, and I'm going to go over what you're seeing there. Hey, title of this: work activities per car, not activities per lead. One of the things that I've always tracked, and again, I've been doing internet leads since 1997, so 25 plus years managing internet departments. You know, you look at lead deployment ratio, closing percentage, response time. These metrics, I think, are kind of outdated in the way that we approach leads. Again, we don't know where the customer is and their buying cycle when they submit a lead. We don't know if they're 2 days out, 2 months out, okay, 90 days, 6 months out, where they're at. So following up with leads based on the age of the lead is kind of irrelevant. And then things like closing percentage, internet closing percentage is a metric that gets skewed when you're realizing the impact of inventory. I've done other videos explain that. This is a different one because, again, I always looked at activities per lead. If I can take you from 8 calls or emails, texts, whatever per lead to 20 calls and emails or texts per lead, you're going to see an increase in appointment ratio, show ratio, sold ratio, which is still true. That does happen, but the activity needs to be pinpointed to be productive, and productive meaning based on situations on my lot. So activity per car is another way to look at this, to make sure each car essentially stands on its own, right? Each car is different when it comes to the miles and color, uniqueness, demand, everything. I get it. But every car should be treated equally. If I'm an inventory manager, I want every single one of my cars getting activity on them, right? Doesn't matter if it's the hard to find vet. I know you're going to get a lot of leads, maybe some activity versus a rental car type Malibu, right? I still want calls. I want activity on that car so I can get it moving faster than others. So I've broken down a bunch of different reports. This is going to be kind of high level, but I'm going to hopefully dumb it down with this screen behind you. And I'm going to share a screen and this is something you might be able to do yourself, but we're pulling this data into our lot walk tool, and we're slicing and dicing, and this is the stuff I'm wrapping my head around because, again, we got to do things differently. So let me show you my screen here on my left, what we did. So this is an example dealer here on the left. And now what we did was we took their inventory, again, out of the lot walk tool, and I sorted it by the amount of active leads. You can see here 32, 13, 11, 11, 7, so forth. These cars are getting a lot of leads. So I sorted it by leads. And then I counted how many total leads that inventory has. Then I took the top 10 cars of leads and said, hey, 99 of those leads came in on 10 cars. Okay. So that's 70% of their total leads are on only 10 cars in this dealer's inventory. And 47% of those leads are on the top 5 or only on 5 cars. I mean, 47%, almost half his leads are on only 5 cars of his inventory out of 49 total cars. Okay. Now, of the 49 total cars, 16 didn't have leads at all, or 33% of his inventory didn't have leads. So let's look at the top 10 cars. 70% of his leads are, when we talk about leads, 70% of those leads are on only 10 cars, and 33% of his cars have no leads. So I broke down this set of dealers, and I broke down a 20 group of ours, and I'm going to share this. So the 20 group, so we're talking about, again, about 20 stores worth of data here. And again, I'm going to walk you through the cars, and then I'm going to walk you through the leads, and I'm going to walk you through why you want to manage activities per car. All right. So again, let's look at the total amount of cars in this set. There's 1,200 cars. Of those, 620 of them had leads. 606 didn't have leads. So again, a dealer set of some dealers had 40 cars in their lot. Some had 300 or 400 cars in their lot. 49% of their cars, half your cars, may not have leads on them. I'll explain on this board here why that matters. Of course, we know why that matters, but let's look at, again, total leads, number of leads on cars in stock. 1,600 leads on the cars in stock, 1,648. Of those, 846 came on just the first 10 cars with the most leads. So 51% of their leads, if I took all your leads, 51%, almost half of them, over half of them, are on just 10 of your cars. Okay. And then 31% are on the top 5. All right. So how this is important. Let's talk again about leads. I'm gonna switch back and forth from my view to this. So let's talk about all cars being equal. Now, this board represents a dealer's lot. Each one of these purple and black squares is a car in stock. Okay. That one dealer I showed you. Now, this happens to be about 44 cars. He actually had 49, so I'm missing 5 cars. But believe me, those 5 cars didn't have leads. And let's walk through. Let's act like we're looking out on our lot. And let's assume every lead gets a call and or an email, a touch, right? And let's act like we're going to call and email every single one of our leads today. So if I was to look out on my lot and I look at the cars that had touches today, this one car got 32 touches today. Now that's a $7,000 truck. It's priced cheap. But this car got 13 touches, 11 touches, 11 touches, 7 touches, 6 touches. You can see my point here, okay? All these cars are getting all my touches, all my cars. Remember, all cars should be treated equally when I want calls and emails and activity on them, okay? But if 10% or if half of my leads, or let's call it half my phone calls, are being done on only 10 cars, okay, that for this dealer, that means I got 30 something other cars that aren't getting touched. Think of this as a used car manager. How many times have you had a aged car, you walk out to it, there's a half flat tire or a dead battery, it smells like a skunk, something's just fishy with this car that we should have caught weeks ago, that our staff, if they did a lot walk, they would have seen the flat tire. If we started cars every week or a couple weeks and refreshed our cars, we would have caught it, right? If we would have got inside the car to touch it and feel it, see what kind of equipment, to understand our inventory, we would have caught it. So look at these cars down here. These cars down here have no leads on them at all. So they're not getting touched at all. Okay. And this one's 26 days old, 26 days old, 22 days old, 19 days old. Let's just stop right there. Let's say you have a BDC or internet department. Okay. Their jobs, they show up behind their desk every morning and they start calling and emailing all the leads you have, scheduling appointments. Where are their activity going? Where's their attention going? On these cars that have leads. So the cars that don't have leads, this 26-day-old car, 2018 Jeep Cherokee, nice car, right? 26 days old, priced competitively, below 100%, okay? Has no leads. Does your internet BDC department even know you have a 2018 Jeep Cherokee on your lot? Do they even know it exists? To even maybe refer it to a customer when they talk to this customer on the phone with 3 leads and they say, well, I'm just kind of shopping around. I'm looking for other SUVs. Maybe they'll go to their website and they'll see that you have a Jeep. But again, as salesperson, I've been doing this 20 plus years. We're trained to go walk our lot, know our inventory, right? Again, touch that car, open it up, see if it has the heated seats and stuff. See if it's got a skunk smell or that battery's dead or the tires half flat, right? But does especially a remote BDC department that it's not even at your store because they're remote because it's maybe part of a group or something. They only know about half your inventory because half your inventory is getting your leads. The other half is not. Remember, these dealerships had half their inventory without leads. So there's 2 different steps here. When it comes to inventory manager, you need to be aware of what percentage of your inventory does not have leads and try to decrease that number. If half your car doesn't have leads, then let's get it to 30% or 20% of your cars don't have leads. Guess what? Then more cars are going to get touched, calls and emails, more calls and emails are going to go out. And then that car is going to have a better chance of selling, right? So activities per car, all things being equal, if every one of these leads is a call and an email, well, you got half your inventory. And think about these with just one touch. That's it. It's like going to the key machine to see how many times the key's been asked for to go on a demo drive and none. What would you do with those cars? Same scenario here. Okay. Now, the other thing, these blue numbers here, like take this 13-day-old car, no leads. So no one's calling and emailing anybody about this car, but we have 23 switch opportunities. What that 23 represents, active leads that were looking for a similar vehicle in that price point. Even though I don't have leads, I got 23 other people that might have been looking for a compact SUV around 20 grand. So let's call and email them on this particular car and increase my activity on per car, which also increases activities per lead, right? I got 23 leads on a car that's no longer in stock. I know they're not calling and emailing those leads, but let's increase our contact ratio on our leads. You want to sell more cars is what I've always been taught. You want to sell more cars, talk to more people. Let's call these 23 leads unsold cars and put 23 activities on this car now. Let's talk to these 8 people on this car, calling them email on this car and get 8 activities on this. See, notice there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 cars now that wouldn't get activity if I work switches. Okay. And this would be 10 activities, 16 activities, 8 activities, 23 activities. Not even telling you how many other switch leads are on these one lead per car up here. Okay. So that right there, let me go back to, I'm going to share my screen again. Let's go back to these raw numbers over here. Okay. Now, remember, they had 606 cars without leads, 606 without leads. Of those, 432 or 71% of those cars had a switch opportunity. Somebody actively in your system that was looking for the same segment of vehicle at the same price range. Segment would be compact SUV. Price range would be, I'd take 2,500 below, 2,500 above. So if somebody's looking for a compact Ford Escape at 20 grand, do I have any other compact SUV at 18.5 to 22.5 I can talk to them about? So there's a total of 3,100 switch leads to be worked to increase activities per car, which ultimately increases activities per lead, which then helps me manage leads based on situations on my lot. Does that all make sense? So these are numbers that we're starting to peel back. And when I got half my inventory not getting any touches at all because I have no leads, what do I do about it? I don't want you to drop your price. Price should be the last lever you pull, especially if you have 23 switch opportunities, 8 switch opportunities. You don't have a lead. So instinct would be drop price. Let's get some leads. No, let's talk about the 23 switch opportunities, the 8 switch opportunities. Let's increase activities on these cars, activities per car, and see if that helps sell the car before we just drop the price. That'll help decrease and protect that margin compression that's happening, right? Cars right now to replace them cost more than what it takes to sell them. And so you got it. Margin compression is happening. You got to maximize every opportunity, recycle leads you already have. But let's start talking about managing leads based on situations on my lot and managing my lot based on the situations of the leads instead of the age of the lead. Again, remember at the very beginning, why are we managing leads based on, it's 7-day-old lead, call every day. If it's a 14-day-old lead, call every other week. 30-day-old lead, let's just give up on it. Well, no. If I have a problem on one of these cars that doesn't have any leads at 22 days old, 26 days old, I'm going to want these 4 switch opportunities. I don't care if they're 30-day-old leads or 50-day-old leads or 2-day-old leads. If I've got somebody that I could talk to about this car, let's go. If my trucks aren't moving, let's pull the leads up. Let's call and email those leads every day, every other day to increase my truck sale rate, okay, regardless of the age of the lead, and protect my profit margin. So I'm not just dropping prices and increase sale rate on my trucks. All right, if this makes sense, this is what we're trying to do here at Lotpop with our Lot Walk tool, slicing and dicing this. We'll spoon feed you all these particular situations. Lotpop.com for a nice demo if that'll help. See you next time.